Hello, folks. I just came across something that gave me a little bit of a headache. And I clicked on it, and then I said, why am I doing this? Us guitar players, we play the biggest instrument out of all these, whether we're kids or whether we're adults. And we understand that the guitar is a chromatic instrument and that you can play in any key you want to on one instrument. I find it kind of lazy when I hear people, except for people that have problems with, handicap problems, tension, and things of that nature. Now, there's only one reason other than handicap problems why I think that a person would want to tune their baritone like a tenor or tune their tenor like a baritone. There's only one reason other than handicap problems. If you got a bad hand or something like that or something, I can understand. There's only one reason why you would, because you picked up one of these instruments and you honestly found out that you like the tuning of the other, and that even though you like the tuning of the other, you cannot deal with the body of the other. You like the tuning, but you can't deal with the body. One lady wrote into Terry Carter, Ukes Like the Pros, and she asked him to do a video about changing your baritone into a tenor. The lights went off for a second there because we have super tenors, which that's what a super tenor is. A super tenor has a baritone neck, so you have that range, and it also has the low G. Okay. Why would you change a baritone into a tenor when you can just get a super tenor? If you can't afford a super tenor and you own a baritone and you don't really want to play because you don't like the tuning, that's dumb, but okay. I have both. I have both a tenor and a baritone. And the reason why I love them is because of their tuning and because one has a deeper tuning than the other. Again, the only reason why you need to change for example, like this woman, change your tenor into a super tenor, or change your baritone into a super tenor, because you need to play a baritone because of your health or whatever. Okay. But you like the tuning of the tenor. You want to play that on baritone because you realize, along with that you're only going to play the baritone because of the size and the deepness and all like that. But the problem with that is you're not getting a baritone. You're not really changing your tenor into a baritone, or changing your baritone into a tenor, I should say, because it's no longer a tenor. It's called a tenor not because of the size of the ukulele, but because of the tuning. Okay? That's why they came out with the super tenor for people like that. Okay? The dumbest one is, and I think Val Vale. I should have got his name. Maybe you're into this stuff. I'll turn this on because maybe you're into this stuff. I'm not into it. And I'll tell you why. I think a baritone is a baritone. You need to get off your lazy behind and learn the tuning. Learn how to play what you play. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You don't see Hawaiian people doing this. Hawaiian people don't do this stuff. They don't do this. Hawaiian people, whether they're just like, you don't see Hawaii. I can tell what part of the world you're from when you go this route. I can tell what part of the world you're from. You ain't from Hawaii. I'm sorry. Like, God. Like, why don't you just learn how to play your goddamn ukulele? For God's sake. Learn the thing. I can understand, again, if you're handicapped and so you want to play the baritone because the strings are softer, the tension is softer, okay. But you love the tuning. How did you find out that you love the tuning of the tenor if you haven't been playing it for a while and learning the chords? But now you want to put that on the baritone and say, well, I only want to play maybe I can understand that. I really don't understand changing your tenor into a baritone or putting baritone tuning on your tenor. Help me, Lord. I don't get it. In other words, changing the strings so that the tuning changes on your baritone or your tenor. You turn your baritone into a tenor, or turn your baritone into a tenor, or turn your tenor into a baritone. It doesn't really happen. Because if you turn your tenor into a baritone, you are still in a different register. You're still, because, what I'm saying, you're still in a different register. And you're putting the strings on a smaller body or a bigger body. So you're still not making it sound exactly like a baritone or sound exactly like a tenor. You're getting a new sound, and it's amazing. I mean, to pluck around like that, to goof off like that, and see what you come up with. Yeah, that could be some fun, but God, my tenor, this old Gretsch right here. There was something missing when I did certain songs on here. So all I did was which I found out is very common in the ukulele world with the pros. A lot of pros. And these ain't people that's just trying to play blues or, like some people will say, if you want to play blues, get rid of that high G. That's not it. Okay? Of course, I gotta admit, the high G when you're playing the string and you're playing blues, it does make your blues sound kind of jazzy. It does make them sound a little bit jazzy. But I just turned my phone on. It's making all kinds of noise. I got to turn my notifications off. But I did one thing in history. Did I not turn this down? Down. You don't understand what down means? Down. Yes, down. Thank you. I did one thing in history that has changed the course of my ukulele fun, and that's with one string, not four, just one. I've turned this into my number one instrument by changing the string right here, changing this high G into a low G. Now, I still like the high G. Okay, I decided to give my concert okay, to my grandbaby, and I still have this here, this amakai. See that? That's a high G. I still like the high G. I don't know where I like the high G. There are some songs that I've done that I've played, and I think it continues to sound better with a it sounds better with a sorry, my phone's distracting me. The stuff that they send me on Facebook. People need Jesus, okay? Let me put my do not disturb on. God. Oh, I'm supposed to be looking for Val or whatever his name is. Just got done watching him. I meant to write his name down. I hit the video button before I got started. Go to my history. There he is. Val. It's Vic. See, that's why you got to go back. It's Vic. What you do? All right, you check behind. It's Vic Skemelts. Vic. I don't know why I'm scratching that out. Okay. Here, I'll put it down here so you can see it. Vic. You might like what he's got to say. He talked about turning his tenor into a baby baritone. That's what he called it. How to turn a tenor ukulele into a baby baritone, or tune it like a baritone. Okay. There's the name right there. Vic Skemelts. Did I leave out the L? Yeah, I did. There's an L there. It's Skemelts. There. Vic Skemelts. All right. When I play a tenor, if I hit this C, I love this C because of what this particular C does to my music. I forget what this chord is if you add the second string. But a lot of times when I play my C, I also add the second string. I forget what chord that is. I could look in the chord book and find out. But I think that's a major. No, that's not major. Major would be, that would be a major. But when I hit the C, I always add the second string. And that gives it not only a more treble sound, but it gives it more depth. And so if I'm playing something, whoops. One of the songs that I wrote, and I used to play it on the guitar, And when I started playing it on the ukulele, I was totally smitten by the way it sounded on the tenor ukulele. Now, I played it on the guitar, but when I played that same song on the tenor ukulele, I became more in love with song. And would you believe that some of the chords on the guitar for that same song are easier, like the 2 6s that I play for this song, are easier on the regular guitar than they are on the ukulele, because you're actually using one finger to play those 6. On the guitar, you're using 2 on the ukulele. It's not all about just making everything easy all the time. It's how you like the song. It's all about whatever song you're doing. I don't care if it's every other song you switch from baritone to uke and back and forth. I don't care every song you switch from ukulele to mandolin or whatever. If you're out there playing by yourself, this is why the last video that I just did, I talked about how the guitarlele and the baritone were actually designed for ukulele players that want to accompaniment themselves or in the band, okay, or play with the band, okay. This is why you don't need to mess with your tunings. Leave them where they're at. If you were telling me that you need to turn this into a baritone, at one point I'm saying, yeah, I gotta admit, if you got big fat hands, this is and then there's that tightness here at the net. Now, the nut. There's that tightness right here until you get down here to the 3rd fret. You get a cleaner sound as you come up, but the tenors are known. Tenors are known to have tension up here. And I do have calluses on my fingers. The same calluses that I have when I play guitar. I have calluses on my fingers when I spend some time playing the tenor ukulele. And the baritone. Because it's not so much about the tension of the string as it is that you're spending time throughout your day playing stringed instruments. Playing stringed instruments puts calluses on your fingers. Playing stringed instruments with your left hand is going to put calluses on your left hand. It has not that much to do with the tension or string ease of the instrument. It has to do with the fact that you're playing a stringed instrument, and when you put your finger on a string, okay, it's like cutting into your finger. I don't care what instrument you're playing. You could be playing, now bass players, their calluses are bigger. Their calluses take up this whole part of their finger up here, the whole thing under the nail, all the way down to here when you're a bass player. And bass strings are really, really heavy. Now, they're easy to play because you got all that room, but still, you look at the calluses, look at somebody's fingers that plays a lot of bass, and you'll see all this is all swollen. Sometimes their fingers look like mushrooms, okay? But I don't understand you guys wanting to mess with the tunings of your ukuleles, because this is the thing. If I'm tenor, okay, let me see. Okay, where are we starting at? We're starting here at F. We're starting here at not F, B flat. I'm thinking of baritone. Okay, this is B flat. So B flat, A. Wait a minute. B flat, C, D. Did I do that right? B flat, C, D, E. Okay, F. Now you're in baritone mode. You're playing baritone, but you're basically doing the same thing that you're doing to your tenor, when you put baritone strings or get strings that you can tune the baritone tuning on your tenor, you're getting this. The only difference is you're getting it down here. But you're getting this. Same thing with the baritone. If you put this here is F. So if this is F, this is B flat. So this is F. No, this is F. This is B flat. So now when you come up here to the 6th fret, I think though if you capo it, you capo it on the 5th fret. But if you come up here to the 5th fret, now you're in ukulele tuning. Now you're in the tenor ukulele when you come up here. Okay? But most of us baritone players, we don't feel a need to go all the way up there for a typical song because that's why we're playing in the baritone now. So, see what I mean? It sounds the same. Okay? What did I say that was? Right here. So, you don't. I just think some people are wasting too much time, monkeying around instead of learning your instrument. Learn your ukulele. The Hawaiians don't have this problem. The only thing Hawaiians do is they go back and forth between the high G and low G. They play both high G and low G. They hardly ever play baritone. They play baritone definitely if they are playing with a band. But you don't see too many Hawaiians, like they'll advertise the baritone, but you never see them. You look on YouTube, you hardly ever see a Hawaiian guy play a baritone ukulele as a feature, as a as a song set, a cover. They call those covers on YouTube. You hardly ever see a Hawaiian play a baritone as a uke cover. Okay, you'll see Abigail Flowers do that, and there's a bunch of other white people that might do that, and you definitely won't see some black folks do that. You don't see no Hawaiians playing a baritone as a ukulele cover. You see them playing tenor with high G and low G. And you also see them a lot of times play a guitarlele. Why don't the Hawaiians, going back to the video that I just did, how come the Hawaiians don't play the guitarlele or the baritone? They'll teach it to you, but they don't really play them as covers. When it comes down to playing covers, they always play a regular tenor ukulele. They don't even play concert or soprano either. It's always the tenor. The soprano is the traditional ukulele, but you don't see Hawaiians playing a soprano as a ukulele cover. You'll see them sell you a soprano. You'll see them talk about the soprano. They might do a special song on the soprano. I did meet a guy who plays a bunch of different sopranos because he's trying to advertise them. So he's always playing these sopranos. He's always advertising these soprano ukuleles. So I didn't know that light was on over there. So he's always advertising a soprano ukulele. So he plays them, and he plays beautiful Hawaiian music on a soprano ukulele. You see a lot of white guys playing the soprano ukulele. You hardly ever see a black dude play a soprano ukulele. You don't see that many black dudes play ukulele, period. But I'm just saying, the ones on YouTube that I have met that do play ukulele, they only play tenor and baritone. Okay? But when it comes to the Hawaiians that know how to play, you never hear them talk about, they'll do it for you. They'll do a video, you're making money for doing these videos. They'll do a video for you showing you how to put baritone strings on a tenor or tenor strings on a baritone. They'll do that video for you. But they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. Because if you're playing together, okay, and you say, we're going to move to the key of F. Okay. There you go. We're going to move to the key of F. Either way, you're going to sound more treble behind the baritone or the guitar or whatever you're playing up against. You're going to sound more trebly. And if you already have, another tenor and he's leading and he's playing, some of the F chords up here, you can come up here to the baritone level and play this F. Okay, but you don't see Hawaiian people that are and they don't even have to be professional at it. They just don't do the stuff that we do. Oh, let's tune the tenor into a baritone and tune the baritone into a tenor. Oh, because I like that tuning better. No, what it is you don't know how to play. Yesterday, I did a demonstration. First of all, I watched an old video of me doing some worship songs, and this was like 3 years ago or more. And there were some songs that we do in my church that I played on my tenor, and I just felt like worshiping God on my tenor. And I forget what the title of the video was. I think it's called I Miss My Tenor Ukulele or something like that. Big D channel, if that's where you're viewing this from. Okay. I listen to myself. And them songs, I need like a paper in front of me. I never memorize them. That's one of the problems with me in music, that I wish I had your gift, because I don't. I never memorize like a whole smorgasbord of songs. I might memorize like 3 songs, and that's only if I'm constantly playing them every day. But to play something a long time ago and remember it, I'm going to remember one of them songs that I played a long time ago. I got to get out the notes, the book. Yeah, here I am doing music and my memory is short like that. But praise be to God. But I forgot that I played these songs on this tenor. And it sounded so great. And there's this like this E minor right here. This on low G, but good and well this does not sound like a guitar, by me putting that low G on there, because the minute my finger leaves that low G, right there, that's all ukulele, baby. And the way this tuning for this E is. There's a worship song where I use this E right here. Compared to, this is why I don't understand people. Compared to this E. To this E minor. Okay, that's, you can get that on the guitar and you can get that on the baritone. But you cannot get that, okay? Now, wait, if I was to play in a different key, so this here is the B minor. Your E minor becomes a B minor now. And you can do the same things. And this becomes E minor. But see, that doesn't sound as unique as it does on the tenor. And this is a different key. This B minor becomes E minor. It's just different on the tenor because the tenor is the tenor, and the Hawaiians, they understand that the tenor is the tenor. They made their biggest move yet when they went from soprano to tenor. When they moved their genre from Portugal to Hawaii, and they started making ukuleles. They were most of them were sopranos. Okay? And then they found out that they could go up a notch and keep the, I think they jumped from soprano to tenor, then they made concert, then they made the one in the middle, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they went from soprano to concert to tenor to baritone. I think they went from soprano to tenor to concert to baritone. Okay? But they found out when they got to the tenor that they had found the ukulele for the pros. They had found the one for popular music. It was the tenor. Because that sounds good if I'm playing with a guitar. If I'm jamming with a guitar, that sounds good. Guitar player's playing in E minor and I'm playing in E minor, and he's playing, the one I showed you on the baritone, and I'm playing this. And that's why you need to know your relative minor, because I was trying to figure out how to make that song end on a major chord instead of a minor chord. And it's the relative minor or relative major to E minor is G. So if you're playing in the key of E minor, and you don't want to end here on the E minor, you can go to the G. You have a positive ending there. This is why we got to learn how to play these ukuleles, not just like try to like keep tuning everything, tune up, tune down. You know, there's guitar players out there to do that too. Don't get me wrong. There's guitar players out there to do that too, you know. But most of them that tune up or down, they tune up and down because they're doing things with their guitar that are not like guitar genre. You know what I'm saying? You know, with the whole slide stuff going on, you know, Derek Trucks kind of thing. But Derek Trucks plays in the same key. He doesn't change his key. Okay? These guys don't change their keys. But a lot of guys will say, oh, we need to go down to the D tuning and we can tune the E. And, you know, the reason why people tune, for example, back there, I've done reviews on it. I have that Merlin. Seagull Merlin. Seagull Merlin. I still ain't sent a thing to my grandkids yet. Now that I'm in the situation I'm in now, it's going to be a while. But I had to call my stepdaughter and tell her it's going to be a while. But the Seagull Merlin behind me. I can understand why you would tune up or down in that, because it's diatonic. It's diatonic. It's diatonic. So let's say I'm playing, let's say, I gotta learn my chords, man. I'll be forgetting stuff. So let's say I'm playing ukulele, everybody knows the C. I have this C. Oops, I'm sorry, right here. They say, I want the C to sound more fuller. Okay. I don't need to tune this into a baritone. All I need to do is turn this C into an F formation. See, I went from this C to this triad. Now I have a fuller C. The baritone player might say to me, hey man, I can't hear you. Okay, instead of playing this open C, I'll play this F formation. And being I have a low G on here, I can hang out up here. Okay? Let's say he wants to play in the key of B flat. Okay? I know that this F formation up here is B flat. This one is C. What did I show you earlier? This one down here is F. So that means the fifth chord is right below it or right above it, right? Okay, why are we tuning all over the place? Okay, let's say he wants to play in A. Okay, there's an A right here. One thing I learned about A on both the baritone and the baritone, because both A's are up here. Like that was an A there. This one here is an A. Your D becomes an A. So I can do the same thing. Those same strings. That's why I don't get it. Because this is an A, your D becomes an A. And it's up here on the second fret also. So therefore, I can still Yeah. And because I'm a guitar player, I know if I'm playing A up here, okay, I know I can go down here and improvise. Those are Fred Socolow pentatonics right there. They're not for the baritone. He gives you different ones for the baritones. Those are the ones I use on the guitar. That's one of the reasons people love the baritone, because you can take something that you learn on a guitar and you only got to play half of it on the baritone. Let me say that again. You can take something that you learned from playing the guitar and only play half of it on the baritone, like. Okay, so I'm going to close there, but you don't need to tune your ukuleles. All you need to do is learn how to play, okay? Okay, because you can play anything, and you can play any chord in several registers, okay? For example, okay, you can take this information and bring it up. And you can also bring it down, okay? You can take something like a D chord, okay, so here's the D formation D. Here's the full D. So D, E, so there's an E. There's the E. There's the E, F, whole step G, there's the A there, and there's the A way down here where I just showed you. There's that A, and there's one down there. Okay, so I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get why people, hey, can I put baritone strings on my tenor? Can I put tenor strings on my baritone and turn it into a tenor? Learn how to play the frickin' thing. And you don't need to do all that, because you're playing a chromatic instrument. I can understand you doing something like that on a dulcimer, because a dulcimer plays in diatonic keys. Okay? Alright? So therefore, I can understand you wanting to play in different tunings and all like that. But anything that I play up here on either one of these instruments, I can also play down here. Okay? Now, yesterday, I was listening to myself play tenor, a recording of myself, a video, well, it was an old video that I did on YouTube, of myself playing tenor, and I looked at it and I said, oh boy, because this was like 3 years ago or more, and I'm thinking, oh boy, and I realized how much I loved the tenor when I played those songs. I can never do that on a baritone. Oh, I can do it on a baritone. I was playing in the key of E, right here. But like I just showed you, this is not this. I can move my fingers around and do more with this E, which on the baritone, this would be a B minor, than this. Now what I use this for is I use this like a bass line. I showed you a few videos ago. I use this as a bass line. When I come off of this B minor, I use this E here, this E minor. I use that as a bass line because you can do that with a baritone because of the low range. But this, that is not this. That's not that. I can only do that on a tenor because of not only the high-pitched sound, but because I'm using a different fingering. Okay. And I can tell you right now, if I was to take the B minor there's a reason why the tenor is small. There's a reason why the strings are the way they are. There's a reason why the baritone is bigger and the strings are the way they are. You have two tunings there. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are that broke and you find out that you love to play, you have a good tenor and you cannot afford a super tenor, okay, go on and turn your tenor into a baritone or something like that. If you are playing baritone, if you really want to play baritone but you can't afford one, turn your, or if you like playing the baritone but you don't like the tuning because I can understand. If you're thinking that you're going to turn your, again, that's where the super tenor comes in. We have super tenors now. If you're thinking that you're going to turn your tenor, your baritone into a tenor because, that's fine. But again, let me explain to you. This is not a super tenor. Okay, and when you get a super tenor, there's certain, super tenors tend to be more warm, just like the baritones that they're built like. You're going to miss some treble. You're going to miss some things from the tenor. You're going to miss some things. If you turn this into, if you're going to find out, you play this up against a super tenor and nobody's doing that on YouTube, I can hear it, okay? If you change this into a super tenor, you're going to find out there's a difference, which I can't wait to get a super tenor, but I don't think I would get rid of this when I got a super tenor because I can already tell you there's a difference, okay? There's a difference because the size has a lot to do with how the ukulele got its name in the first place. But in closing, I love both tunings, and I found out that there are some things that I love to play on the baritone, and there are some things I love to play on the tenor. And when you know how to play both of them, and you know your chords, you know your music. Anybody that gets up there, unless you are dealing with a handicap, or you find out that you like one tuning, but you only want to play that tuning on one instrument, you don't want to play two ukuleles or whatever. Okay, I get you there, but a lot of people are getting on here and they're suggesting these things, and it's costing them because they don't know how to play. Okay, because if you know where all your triads are, okay, on this guitar, let's say you want this to sound like I showed you. You want to, they say, can you heighten the strings? This is one of the things that people love about the baritone too, is that you can come up here and all this here is tenor ukulele from here to here. Even though you got more, this is why you stick with the tenor if you have one, because you're going to have more range on a regular tenor once you get up here. But this is all tenor. This is a B flat. This is where your tenor starts. B flat. This is a C. B flat, C. Just like here. Just like here. Same thing. B flat and C right there. I don't get it. I don't understand why people feel like they need to. It tells me you don't know how to play. Okay? When you say that. Why don't you just learn your chords in inversions? Okay? Now, in closing, I never go to the Hawaiians. Being we're talking about the Hawaiians. Again, the Hawaiians do not worry about this stuff. They don't really worry about, all the stuff that we worry about. But I was jamming with these guys last night. I know y'all hate when I show books, but here we are. Bam! I have both of them. I got this one first. And if you haven't been watching my channel, I also have Jake Shimakura's book. But these books here, especially this one, will teach you how to play your chords up the neck. It will teach you how to. Daniel Ho, I mentioned them yesterday. Daniel Ho and Herb Otto, okay. They will teach you how to play your chords. Okay, they teach you, like in this first book, I think they teach you second position. Let me see here. No, they teach you the first position. Let me see here. In closing. Oh, the first thing they teach you in here is how to play your major scales in all 12 keys. That's beautiful. Okay, and this is the first book. They teach you how to play your major scales in all keys, and then they teach you all the way up to your augmented 7th chords, your flat 5 chords, your diminished 7 chords. Now, as you can see, when you go through these, you'll see that some of these chords, they had to go up the neck at least a little bit, okay? Now, when you get to this book will teach you, this book starts off with the pentatonic scales, which is awesome. Both these books together is a whole complete course on the ukulele, trust me. And they have songs in the back, too. It starts off with pentatonic scales in all 12 keys, okay? Then you go to playing thirds and sixes in all the keys, which is beautiful. This is awesome. The thirds and sixes in all 12 keys. Then you go back to the major scales again, but you're going up the neck in major scales, okay? And now they're teaching you second position chords. So most of these chords are going to be in the second position. Most of them are not going to be open, like most of the chords here. Most of the chords here are not open. They're all closed chords. That means that you can move them up the neck. When you learn how to move all your favorite chords up the neck and it becomes something else, you're getting a whole chord vocabulary. So therefore, you're not worried about, oh, well, maybe I need to tune my baritone into a tenor or tune my tenor into a baritone. You don't need to do that. They even got turnarounds in here. This is awesome. Now, this is awesome. They got Hawaiian turnarounds in here. Okay? Amazing. Amazing. And there's a funny picture there of them being silly on the street. Amazing. Yeah, that's funny. But again, I just think people need to learn how to play the ukulele. Learn how to play one of them before you start worrying about, I've learned over this weekend actually, that I'm pretty content with my baritone and my tenor the way they are. If I mess with them, I'm going to become unsatisfied. I'm going to be unsatisfied, whatever, because there are things where, I played on my baritone, but I wish it had a more tenor sound, or vice versa. I played on my tenor, especially that. I played on my tenor, and I'm thinking, that treble's too high. I wish I had a more baritone sound. Okay, but, and I can't wait to get my hands on a super tenor. I think super tenor, but again, super tenors. You don't see Hawaiians doing covers on super tenors. You just don't. You see them selling super tenors. Oh, we'll play a good song for you to sell you one. But they're not doing covers on super tenors. This right here is the number one instrument of ukulele genre, the tenor. Started out as a soprano. And the concert is squeezed in there too, but only certain people play concerts. And there's usually white people. Okay? I ain't trying to get racial now, I'm just telling you what I see on YouTube. Okay? The Hawaiian people, they all play tenors. A lot of them play low G, a lot of them play high G. More play high G than low G. They don't tamper with the genre. So if they play something on the tenor and they need a deeper sound, they have guitar players and baritone players and keyboards and basses and stuff behind them to make that song sound more professional. But initially, the tenor is the number one instrument. The tenor, now, don't get me wrong, I think Tamani Gardner does not play in GCEA. She's a pro at GCEA, but I don't think that's what she plays in. I think she plays in a different tuning. She has picked her own tuning for her ukulele, but she will teach you in GCEA. But all the Hawaiians, their number one instrument is the tenor, and they don't feel that they need to they don't want to play baritone. They'll teach you baritone, but they're not playing baritone. Okay? Some of them are playing guitar-lele. That's as far as out of the ukulele genre they go. As far away from the tenor as they go. Okay? They'll play a regular guitar before they play a baritone or a baritone, or start messing with the tunings of their instruments. Okay? God bless you. Thank you for watching. That was too long. I hope this helps. God bless.